up, my fellow HHN obsessees, and welcome to the HHN Obsession Podcast, where we talk about all things HHN and obsess together over this amazing event. I am your host, JJ. With me, as always, I have the co-toast, James.
You said co-toast? I'll allow it. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is the number one, so I approve. Co-toast.
Well, James, we're here on day 4 of an announcement this week. We're still going. It's a streak. It's really wild. I still am in disbelief that this is actually happening, and it's an interesting one. Do you know any info on it?
I'm managing to stay in the dark. Okay, I did catch a glimpse, but I've been erasing my brain. I've been trying to do the Men in Black erase deal. I'm sticking to it.
So you do know it. You've seen the title.
Yes.
Dang,
It's starting
man.
to happen, dude. It's bleeding through. It's starting to leak into my feeds.
Well, it's because I share all this stuff, so it might be coming from me. But, you know, James here loves to be surprised. He likes to hear all the info while we're recording on the podcast. That's his favorite thing. He keeps himself hidden off social media.
I try to. I'll be around in the future, but for now I'm still, getting my ducks in a row. I buckled on this one. What happened?
I don't know, man. It's just a popular week. People are talking. There's a lot going on. So before we get into what got announced, because there is not a whole lot of info on this house, I felt like we could just go straight into a couple of small rumors that popped up before we get into the house discussion. Real quick, I just want to mention that Pinhead said today on Reddit, his words from what he's heard, the IP that they weren't able to obtain was actually Nightmare on Elm Street. So I don't think Five Nights at Freddy's had anything to do with this. So apparently Universal tried to obtain Nightmare on Elm Street. It didn't go over well as they planned for whatever reason, and they just had to find something else. According to him, though, they've had plenty of time to come up with an original to replace it. So that there's no rushed original in this lineup. They've had plenty of time to create it. So that's always a concern when an IP is lost and they have to rush to make something, a la Hell Block Horror with Evil Dead Rise. That did not go over well.
I guess I should formally apologize to Mr. Fazburger, or what's his name, the Freddy owner. I'll leave you alone for a second. I'll stop picking on you.
Furry Faz Boo Boo.
Oh man, you're calling. Here I am making nice, and you're Lama ding donging him, dude. That's pretty cold.
I don't think people know what that is. First of all, James just to clarify, James hates M. Night Shyamalan, so we have a joke. It's M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong.
He deserves a lot worse, but yeah, the nickname is at least derogatory.
Anyway, so that is what's happening. That's why we are getting all these originals all at once. It was a last minute decision because Nightmare on Elm Street was planned to be the first announcement in May. That's what they had planned on the schedule, was they were going to announce that. So last minute they said, well, we got to do something. So they started doing this. To me, it's just testing the waters basically, because they've never tried to release all the originals at once first without releasing what the IPs are. So I'm loving it so far. This year is going to be stacked just with these 4 houses that we know so far. But by the way, shout out to Horror Night Nightmares, because looking back at their spec map version 2, the latest one, they've nailed it so far. Everything that's been announced was on that last map.
Wasn't there like a backup IP or something? They said there was like 2 lined up, and then this was the backup. Do we know what the other IP was, or is that denounced?
I believe the rumor was that Five Nights at Freddy's and Nightmare on Elm Street were the 2 IPs that were kind of being thrown around as they were trying to get it. I'm not too sure about Five Nights at Freddy's. According to Legacy, I believe he had said a while back that it was never on the table and it was never being built at Fast and Furious, all that stuff. It's always been Major Suites.
And it never will.
I don't know, man. That sequel's coming out next year. They might bring it next year.
We'll see what they got. I'm holding out.
All right. Now, as far as the second rumor is kind of interesting. It's about the icon. So recently Pinhead said that The word on the street is that the icon is female this year. Now,
Oh,
all the discussion about this icon related to fear, and now they're saying that the icon is female.
hey, I like
So
females.
my good on you, James. Good for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Um, is this mother fear? Because this is supposedly a god over the god, like the super god, the super icon. Is this mother fear?
Just when you say mother fear, is that like fear's mother, or was fear a chick this whole time? Yeah, fear or no?
Fear's mother, yeah. And Pinhead actually said that.
Okay.
I believe the icon is female, so it's not Fear if that's the case. Could be Fear's mother, though. That's exactly his words. So that could be interesting. Again, that teaser video, I'm still wondering how that's connecting to all this. And I'm really hoping that Friday is the day that we get an announcement for the icon and an icon house, because there's still that unknown original that nobody knows what's happening. Like there is a discussion on the forums, on Discord. Everyone is going back and forth like, what the heck is this 10th house, this sixth original? Why is this one such a mystery? And it might be such a mystery because it's the icon house and they're keeping it hush hush. They don't want everybody to know what's going to be like the theme of this year. So that could be the thing that we
Yeah,
get
best for
Friday. Yeah.
last. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that reminds me because I was rewatching how the seasons and how these announcement seasons go for the last year that we went to, because I wasn't paying
Mm-hmm.
attention to any of this stuff. But the way they paced it out and introduced Oddfellow, it was like very clever. It was like after everything and then best for last, and then they revealed info slowly through the descriptions of the houses and the scare zones. So it was like really good how they did it. And if they're following that blueprint, then I could see the last house being an icon house. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it's very possible that is what's going on. And that's what we're going to get Friday. We're going to get the house announcement and the big reveal of what the icon and the theme is going to be. Or we could just get a house. I have no idea, but we are definitely going to be finding out what this unknown original is Thursday or Friday. All right. I guess we can go ahead and talk about what got announced today. And James planned to go and meet Ben Stiller and the ghost of Robin Williams because we're headed to sort of a nightmare at the museum. Because today's announcement, the house announced today, is called The Museum Deadly Exhibits.
All right then. A museum.
And that's all we got, man. It's just the museum deadly exhibits. It's got a small description. That description is: you decide to visit the new folklore museum exhibit, the Rotting Stone, when an evil escapes from within, destroying everything in its path. That's the description. The TikTok version is slightly different, not much different, but I'll read that. The museum deadly exhibit. You're going to check out the Rotting Stone, the local folklore museum's infamous new exhibit. An evil spirit escapes from within, possessing the other displays and decaying everything in its path.
I know how it's gonna go.
How's that?
You're gonna go in. It's gonna be like you're trying to look at the art. It's like all shadowy. It's in the corners, and it's like, dang, we need some lights up in here. And then there you go, the museum dark exhibit. It's too dark in here.
So I'm slightly disappointed because it doesn't really look like we're getting that whole Egyptian theme.
Hmm.
After all, this doesn't really look Egyptian to me, which is funny because the last episode we talked about that what was being talked about on the forums was that the museum rumor had started to go away, but the Egyptian theme was still a rumor, but it's backwards, it seems.
Yeah, they flip flop it.
But I'm all for this. I'm just thinking about when you go to a museum and it's like empty and it's just quiet and there's all these figures staring at you, or you're kind of wondering,
Hey,
well, do these things come alive at night? You've seen the Ben Stiller movies enough.
you know what I want to see?
What's that?
I want to see the evolution lineup. Like the all through the missing link. From ape to man, like in the house, and then one of them moves and tries to get you. That'd be pretty sick.
I could see them doing that. That's a good speculation there. The thing is, do you know what a folklore museum is exactly? Because I'm not entirely sure exactly what that means. Hold
Yeah,
up.
they got banjos, right? It's bluegrass. Let's see.
That's a folk museum, James.
Oh, okay. Folklore. Would it be like? I know back in my hometown they got like jackalopes, but they're not real, and they have like they describe the tales of the I don't know the Native Americans and stuff like that. Folklore could be a bunch of like.
So when I looked up folklore museum, it just says it's a generic title for a museum of social history, and less often of folklore in the mythic sense. So it's just a history museum basically. So yeah, it's what you said. It could literally be the evolution of man, and one of those comes alive maybe.
I'm thinking of like exhibits. It would be like, not Paul Bunyan because he's not real. He's like a myth. But if it's folklore, it could be like historical figures, like I don't know, the guy that made the peanut, the cotton gin, and all that.
When you think back to the description, though, it says we're checking out the rotting stone, which is a specific exhibit. So the rotting stone is where the evil spirit escapes from within, possessing the other displays. So what is the rotting stone?
You know what it is? It's the slab from Courage the Cowardly Dog. It's the slab.
Oh man, return the slab.
Hey, that's mine. Give me that.
To be honest with you, if they were to put that kind of monsters, that kind of vibes into it, I'd be totally fine.
Ah.
Like that'd be so scary. So there's a lot of talk about this house on the forums because there's some people that of course looked at every detail about this, and when you brighten this thing up and zoom in between deadly exhibit, there is some kind of object there, and people were kind of thinking that it's Fear's lantern, that this could actually be the secret icon house, but I am not entirely sure that that is Fear's lantern there. That actually might be the rotting stone.
Oh
I'm not
yeah.
sh- I'm not sure. It looks very similar to the lantern, but doesn't exactly look like it. But at the very top of museum, kind of hidden there, you can see rotting stone in the
Oh yeah.
background.
So the whole stone is just the background,
It could be,
maybe.
yeah, yeah. The background of the artwork is straight up the rotting stone.
It's pretty nebulous for a rotting stone. You would expect more like sickly yellow. I like the colors.
But man, this has the potential to be one of the scarier houses this year. I mean, so
Mm.
far we got Slaughter Cinema, which is schlocky, has some comedy in it. We got the whole Goblin House, which, I don't know how scary goblins could be, but we'll find out. Then the third one is Major Sweets, about a candy factory and kids going psycho. So not exactly the scariest houses have been announced. I think this has the potential to be one of the scarier houses this year. However, it's not the one I'm most hyped for, to be honest with you. But the thing was, last year, Darkest Deal was kind of lower on my hype list, maybe like right down the middle, and it ended up being my favorite. So this could be one of the surprise hits of the year. And to top it off, I believe the rumor is this is going in the Darkest Deal tent where it was last year. So another tent house.
Yeah, I'm curious if they're gonna how the layout's gonna be. Are they gonna have it like you're walking through a literal museum exhibit, or are they gonna kind of like guide you through the scenes? Like each room takes you through a different scene, or is it gonna be literally like you're walking through the exhibits and they're jumping out through like practical angles of like the layout? I don't know how
Well,
they're gonna lay
I,
it
I
out.
I think we'll be going through different parts of the exhibit. Like I don't know about exhibit to exhibit because it says we're in a specific exhibit, so I'm not sure we're going to be in the whole museum. Here's the thing: if this were to be in a soundstage, there would be plenty more room to make this like a huge museum layout. But now
Hmm.
that they're saying it's going to be in a tent, it's going to be way more confined, way more smaller rooms. So I think we can kind of expect this to be a little more claustrophobic than a normal museum. I don't know though.
That'd be cool if they had a Ben Stiller stand-in type.
Which, by the way, people on the forums like immediately started going, I need a Ben Stiller scare actor in this house. So hey, but I think you said it first, man. I think you were because I think you said it on the spec map episode.
Yeah, and when I did, I mentioned I forgot to mention the name, but he's been in a lot of like gory shows and like he's produced like independent stuff.
Hmm.
Hollywood, Florida, big time. That's what it is. Big time in Hollywood, Florida. It's like impossible to find online to watch, and it was on Comedy Central at like the end of the TV era when like online was blowing up and Funny or Die was taking over. It
Hmm.
was like one of the last Comedy Central shows with Workaholics and Broad City. I really and Ben Stiller, like spoilers. It's the first episode for anyone who cares, but Ben Stiller gets like shot to death like a million times by all the police, like egregiously. Like it's pretty awesome.
Are you saying you want that to happen in this house? You want a Ben Stiller death?
I won't be complaining. That would be so cool.
I mean, there's going to be a security guard character. I bet you anything, and it's going to be very close to a Ben Stiller lookalike. I bet, but we'll see. There's not a lot of insider info going on with this house. Out of all the announcements we've got in this week, this was the least amount of talk once it was released. So
I hope this isn't a prediction, but the name a little lazy, right? The museum. I hope that
that was one of my first thoughts as well, man, was the title just seems a little basic. But
yeah.
that's okay. I'm not going to like judge it off of that. I mean, there's been horrible titles before and the houses were great. So I wouldn't judge it completely on that. What we need to be like critiquing is the actual like idea and the theme and all that. And I do think this could go very well with what this idea is.
Yeah, I mean, and that could be a smart move. I mean, set the expectations low with a simple name and then blow their hair back. I mean, you
I
never
mean,
know.
again, I hate to keep bringing this back to Darkest Deal, but like that idea to me didn't really seem like it was going to hit very well. This I can actually see it hitting well, but at the same time, it could also not. That's why I'm thinking this is going to be the surprise hit, like Darkest Deal was to me.
If they got some dinosaur bones coming to life, coming at you, that could be neat. I mean, just borrow one of the Jurassic Park puppets and like give it some glow skeleton paint. You're good to go. I would like to very much see some dinosaurs.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll be able to pull that off. I feel like there's going to be puppets, maybe if that is the case. If they're going to have dinosaurs, they'll have like a little puppet head dinosaur coming out of a hole. But beside that, I can't see like a huge animatronic puppet in one of those tents. But who knows?
They can get creative with the shadows, with the light work and stuff. I saw they had some ravens and something, and they were. I think it was anyway. Yeah, I think they could pull some cool stuff off with like the lighting too.
Well,
I mean, if they're
yeah,
smart with it.
right. So that's a good point. I actually really hope that this house is dark. Like we're at a museum at night when it's closed and it's just dark in there. Like I'm thinking back to Scarecrow. It's in the same tent actually. That house, I just remember it being so dark in there, and they used the lighting very, very well. What they did light up, it was perfect. So if they could do something similar to that for all these museum exhibits, again, it could be House of the Year.
um,
Let
you go ahead. I was just thinking.
Well, no, I was just gonna say let's do that whole new tradition. Let's talk if there is going to be a food booth for this, which I could see this one not having one, but if there was, what would be a food item?
This is funny, but I would love some kind of edible mini mummy. However, they decide to do it, because there's a history of people consuming like mummy parts for their power, like over the years. That's why we're out of mummies. People keep eating them. That's like true
Hmm.
history. But also, there's that Futurama joke, and then I don't know. I would like a little mummy on a stick. That'd be cool. I don't know if what it would be, meat or candy.
A turkey leg wrapped
Uh,
in something like some kind of
yeah,
edible wrapping around it. Oh, bacon. I don't know. Some kind of I don't know.
maybe a pastry
Uh,
or a meat pastry.
let's see. If there were to be a food booth for this one, again, I doubt this one would have one, but I think an item would be the rotting stone. What would be the rotting stone?
Hmm. Like a cookie, or how would that?
Some kind of cookie or cake, maybe. I don't really have much of a guess for this one besides it there being a food item called the rotting stone. And I think it could be some kind of piece of meat in like a little tray with like all the fixings and
Hmm.
stuff. Maybe. That's not a great guess, I know, but there's not much to go off of for this one. So I'm just gonna go with that. The title, Rotting Stone, food item.
Oh, you know what? You know, it'd be cool. An old fashioned. For the booze, and then in its museum. I don't know.
Ah, some kind of old fashioned. Okay. Okay. Well, all right, everybody. That's all we can really talk about for now. This house lineup is just absolutely amazing. I can't wait to experience these houses. I can't wait for tomorrow. I'm willing to bet that tomorrow is going to be the monstrous house that it was originally at HHN Hollywood last year. So I'm willing to bet that's going to be tomorrow's announcement. And Friday is the unknown original possible icon announcement. So just be on the lookout. We're going to try to release these daily. We'll see what happens. But yeah, let's take them out, James. It's time for the fade out.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, JJ. Never call me co-toast again. Never. All right, it's co-ghost. Get it right.
Oh, you want me to keep calling it co-ghost?
I think so. I like the ghost. Sorry for the rudeness. Goodbye, everyone.
Let's go grab our sleeping bags and stay the night at the museum. It may be a nightmare at the museum.
By now it sounds overdone, but this is where we said it first. I mean, we're like the sandwich of saying the nightmare at the museum. Okay, we said it, and then someone commented it, and then we are saying it again. But it was us.
Possibly we were the first ones to say nightmare at the museum. I have no idea. So.
I'll follow the sword. I'll die on the hill.
Don't yell at me, guys. Yell at James.
I can take it. Oh wait, that's what she said.
You're damn right. Just wait a while, giving you the hip at your face now. Wait a while, giving you the hip at your face now. Wait a while, giving you the hip at your face now. Wait a while, giving you the hip at your face now. Wait a while.
Hey everyone, just wanted to give a quick shout out to my good friend Zach Weber, who provided our intro and outro song, Heebie Jeebies. You can listen to the full version of Heebie Jeebies on iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, or anywhere where you listen to your favorite music. Thanks for listening.